Alright guys, it is the yearly video on any of my channels where I just kind of talk about the fact that I am scared of growing older. So yeah, let's just get into it. Yeah, so the situation, right, is pretty much what everyone else is dealing with as they grow. They kind of start to get to a point where they're kind of just like, okay, you know, I'm in my 20s now, and, you know, as they progress through their 20s, which is what I'm doing currently, the closer they inch to 30, the more, more loss of hope they gain? That was not it. The more hope they lose. that is not a good way of saying it. Anyway, yeah. So currently, right now, I am 25. I know it's hard to believe, but I'm 25 as I'm recording this video. Put it down in the history of books. He's 25 as of March 25th, 2025. Anyway. So yeah, I am kind of at a state where, you know, this is really the last time I can really make myself feel like I can be kind of young and whimsical, if that makes sense. Because, I don't know, man. Like, I just, you know, have always viewed the mid-20s, like, dating back to my teens, like, as like this scary kind of age, because I didn't comprehend that it was also very young. And this video isn't me saying like, oh god, the 30s and even 40s are so scary, they're like, so I should have everything figured out by then, you know, like have everything all figured out. No, I realize that that is a silly thing to think, but it doesn't make it any less valid. I just think that I would like to be young, and you know, hot take, I know, but like the golden age, honestly, for me, and the age that, you know, if like if God came up to me and was like, yo Matt, what's up bud, and I was like, oh my god, and he was like, shh my child, what age do you want to be for the rest of your life? I would probably say any age that I am now or younger, undoubtedly. And I would stick with that, you know, because, you know, being in your mid-20s is probably the best time, but I realize, you know, being in your late 20s is probably even better. I just don't realize that yet. And I can see why. You probably have a lot more freedom, you have more money, you have more things you can do. And, you know, it's probably a time in life where you have more, possibly. I don't know for sure. With that said, I would also probably choose any, age that begins with a 2. Pretty sure. Because, like, you know, 18, 19, it's like people don't really take you seriously, so, you know, you might as well just be like, alright, I'll just fucking choose my 20s, I guess, you know. So yeah, pretty much the first half of 20s is where I would choose, pretty much. But yeah, so with that part of the way, with that conjunction out of the way, yeah, there was a point a couple years ago where I had this exact discussion with myself on video, and I even talk about it with Jake on our channel, Nerd Vibes, sometimes, where we kind of like talk about how fast time is going, and, you know, how scary it is, and reminisce about the, you know, good old times when we didn't have that much stress in life. You know, and so, yeah, like, honestly, I think back to previous years a lot. I've been thinking about 2017 and 2018 and 2019 a lot, because those are probably the even though I was stressed as hell in those times, I look back at those years of fondness because even then I kind of do realize, but I realize more so now that those years of my life were like the years I was happiest because, well, I was just about to finish up high school, and I didn't really work after high school. I kind of just had the year to myself, and then COVID happened, so it kind of went on for a little longer than that. But I did get a job at 19. I did get a job at 19, just so that's clear. It's just, it got fucked up by COVID. But after that, I just, had more time off, and then I started to work again. Like, pretty much for the first couple of years after high school, I didn't really have a job, and the more time passed, the more stressed I got, because I was like thinking of like, oh, I shouldn't be unemployed right now, like I'm so stressed out, and all that. And that's kind of in coinciding with the aging thing, was just like you hold yourself to these standards. And 25, I don't drive, I don't have a license. I could easily get a permit and then learn as time progresses to get a license, obviously. And I have been planning on getting a license, but I have been planning on getting a permit just to practice driving, obviously. It's just, I am a huge procrastinator, and it really has screwed me up in my entire life. So yeah, I just need to get focused on that. And that's part of it. Obviously, the procrastination is a huge part of why I am scared of getting older, because I feel like I should be doing most of the things now to get my life in order for the future. And though that is true, this is the best time to enjoy my life as it is, because I realize right now, I want kids in the future, right? So I'm just gonna take advantage of this time period in my life, and I realize whenever I have kids of my own with my girlfriend, knock on wood, I won't have that much time to do really anything. It would be a miracle, especially in the first year or two, that I could do anything. So it's just kind of like, there isn't really an issue by any means, to an extent rather, I mean. But also, the pressure is a little bit there. It's starting to kind of build up, especially as of late. And also, just the whole thing of responsibility. It's like, I was not built for this. I did not ask to become an adult. I will just be honest. I am a person who, if I could relive being a kid again, I would. I prefer being a kid, I'm not gonna lie. I kind of had this realization not too long ago, and yes, I know being a kid means you are restricted from doing a lot of things and possibly doing a lot of activities, but well, I haven't done it anyway. But point is, to an extent, maybe it's just from experience, or lack of rather, through the life of an adult. But I just, look back at my time when I was a kid in elementary school and middle school, even though I fucking hated my time in my life when I was in middle school, kind of like, so does everyone else though. But I just look back at those times, and obviously the thing is, very little responsibility. That is obvious, and that should be understood. Though obviously, we have school at those times, and when you're that age, you kind of don't realize that the stuff you're going through then is not really that serious or deep, because within the next year you will forget about it entirely. And honestly, You know, saying that, it does make me kind of realize that the problems that I am facing right now currently, sure, a couple will still be there. Like, I've had a multi-year long cough, other health problems and mental problems that have been here. But I'm talking about like job things or even just like relationship issues, not that I am going through any. It's just you realize that, you know, nothing is going to really be always the same. And that, you know, means good and bad. You know, so it's just kind of like a thing where I have to realize, like, hey, you know, that does mean that these issues could be resolved. And that means other issues that I'm going through don't matter in the grand scheme of things, and I just don't realize it yet. And obviously in the time, you know, when things are going on, it's like, well, okay, cool, but like I'm kind of doing with this right now, you know? And that's entirely okay, that's valid. And the things that you're going through right now are valid, the things I'm going through right now are valid too. And the things that you were going through like 5 years ago, 10 years ago, were all valid. And for me as well. And that's gonna hold true in the future. Like, there will be a point in your life that's so stressful, but it can only last for like a couple of, you know, months or even years. And, you know, 10 years later, it won't matter. You'll look at that time period like, what the fuck was I thinking? Just like stressing over that. And it's like, yeah, like, that has happened to me too. I'm kind of getting off topic, but it also is kind of on topic. But what I mean is, you know, back when I was like 21, I was going through like a breakup, and I was like, this is the end of the world, dude. Just so distraught because like I was like, yeah, she was the one. She was the one for me, and you know, I was just like, there's nobody else out there for me. But then I realized, like, hey, that was my third girlfriend, you know, anything's possible at this point. And, you know, lo and behold, I just had to wait a couple years, and even though it is online, it's long distance, if things go right and according to plan, you know, then we'll hopefully live together within the next 5 or so years. If, you know, money situation and economy get better, that is. You know, they probably won't. But, you know, yeah, and that's kind of just like another realization, like, you know, you should just always kind of work towards having possibilities for your own future too. And, you know, like, for example, the Nintendo Switch 2 is soon to come out, and you know, even though I want time to go slow as possible so I can live in this moment, at the same time I can't wait for the future to experience new things, whether it's gaming or life things or relationships. And by relationships I mean friendships, because I will not experience another relationship ever again. But if it does go down that path, I hope that, you know, I will have an easy time finding a woman of my anyways, I don't want to talk about it. But what I'm trying to say is that you should always kind of gear your life in a way where you can always kind of look forward to the future, even if you are scared about it. So you do have something to do in the future, have something to look forward to in the future, as always. You know, and that's kind of the gist of it. I mean, that's just entirely just life, man. Like, you should always have something going on. Like, if you're doing the same thing every day, kind of like what I did a couple years ago, or just anything for that matter, like, some days just feel the same, Like, even nowadays, like, I go to work 5 times a week and come home, just do the same thing most days. Just play games, be at my computer all day, sometimes record videos like this, and, you know, you go from there. But, you know, sometimes you just also have to do stuff that gets out of your comfort zone, and honestly at this point in my life I have been trying to do that. Like this past year I went on a dating site just to see what that was like, and I had a little success, but you know, even though I didn't get anything, I just wasted a lot of money in general. You know, it was an experience that I'm kind of glad I did because it was different. It was like a thing where it's like, okay, alright, you know, my ego was broken at first, but you know, the more I do this, like, the more that a little success I can get from this. And, you know, obviously in the long run, from the dating apps that I went on, because I did talk about it in my first video, so, yeah. You know, it was just a thing that I could do. And, you know, obviously the big goal of that was to find my favorite partner. That did not happen, but I kind of am glad that I just did the experience in general. And now currently I am on a friend making app because I am friendless. I have 0 friends, no Conrads. So yeah, I've been doing that. I've you know, added a couple of people off of there this past year as well. And so, you know, just yeah, mixed bag, because some of them are just, you know, well, pretty much all of them I just don't really talk to because it's kind of awkward still. But the point is, you know, you also just gotta get out of your comfort zone, because that's pretty much what my 20s have been. Just so much stress some points, sometimes. You know, just getting out of your comfort zone, and you know, that's essentially what it is. So yeah, I'm like still very scared of going older for sure, but like I know deep down everybody goes through it, and you know, there's the comfort in that, you know. Anyways, that is it. I'll talk about this again soon, but yeah, goodbye. I need to press the stop recording. Whoops.